evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. First item is approval of the September 21st study session minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, public comments. Yes, ma'am.
Joe Smith, I, 208 South Central. I have three things really quick. First thing is, I'd like to thank Joe and JD for coming out and checking on my water line this week. They didn't have to do that. But it made me very much reassured that I wasn't going to get a down when I got my fence. So I appreciated that, and I want to publicly thank you for that. Second thing is real quick festival. We had the low lights where we had a vendor breaker on. Show off her own ladder and her own boots, so it wasn't enough, but she did break her arm. The other thing is we had to call it early because it started hailing and raining, and we had vendors with fragile product, and they were getting it out, and it was just a mess, so we called it at 4 o'clock. Financially, we did extremely well this year because 2 grandmothers worked with each other and had grandchildren in the baby contest. And it turned into quite a bit anymore. And speaking of financial, I would like to ask the board to consider including festival in the amendment or motion, whatever it says, the action regarding going to Joe for approval on things, and then if it requires a contract or whatever coming to the board. As you all know, we're really careful with our money. We don't spend money on anything except the events. Our t-shirts we pay for ourselves, everything we pay for ourselves. Some of the stuff we pay for ourselves that we could take money out for. And in the past, there have been times when we've had to place deposits and stuff, and maybe the board didn't meet, and it's been a delay, it's cost us money. And we like that consideration also to go to Joe. Of course, contracts and everything would still come to the board. We understand that, but we'd really like for you to consider completing festival in that action.
Okay. It would probably be separate from what we're doing tonight. We don't want to tie that to the park renovations,
Okay.
but I mean, for a
But
future meeting, we can certainly look at that.
If you would consider that, we would appreciate it very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other-
Is this where we,
Yeah, if you'd like to come forward, tell us your name and address, and
I'm Tammy Cronus, I'm the owner of Tammy Sue's at 309 South Hudson. And first of all, I just wanted to come and introduce myself, because I haven't done that yet, and say thank you that we've reached our 1-year mark. And it's been a great year, and I love being a part of the community and doing as many community things as we can. In fact, last month was one of our best months, so thank you for all your support. And with that, Anita Jonas, who's also going to be coming up, we've been trying to plan, as you well know, some different girls' nights out. And one that we have upcoming that we would like to plan is Fool's Night Out for Halloween, which would be October 26th from 6 to 9. And the part that I wanted to share with you is that Tony Miles has allowed us to use, we're Created to Create, used to be across the street, to do some pop-ups in there that are just some of the vendors that I don't have in my store that people have liked to come to, like permanent jewelry, cowboy hats, that type of thing. And then we'll have things in the store as well. And then Anita will talk more about the other piece to that. So again, thank you for your support, and we hope to have more community things. And if you ever have questions or issues, please come to me.
thank you.
It's a nice segue. Thank you. I'll go next. Okay. I think you guys know who I am. Anita Jonas. I own Clarity in the Hudson Room at 323 South Hudson. And I just want to address a couple of comments that I heard in the last board meeting that was held. I watched the video, and I want to be super clear about my intentions here are not to disrupt the community at all. They're just we're here to, bring good business downtown. I heard some comments about the Bloody Mary bar that we've held too. And we did encroach past the sidewalk. We should not have done that. I'm apologizing for that totally. Someone did turn me into alcohol and tobacco, and I have since cleared all that up with them. The state said to let the entire city know that, okay, that we're good, and we've got that all figured out, and we know what we're supposed to do. I do have my license, I brought copies if you want to see it, to serve on the sidewalk in the front. I've always had that. So if people are drinking on the sidewalk, I don't have to ask for exceptions to do that. They can drink on the sidewalk, side to side, right in front of my building. I appreciate you guys giving me the additional space or the approval to go back to the back. I heard that comment as well. There's a secondary step involved with that I haven't taken yet to be able to do that and serve all the time. And that's some additional fencing, or not even have to be fencing, but alcohol and tobacco wants me to be able to put a rope around or something around the back before I allow people back there all the time. That's why I did not push back people back there that day, because I'm really not allowed to do that. Like I said, we did put a table in the street. We shouldn't have done that. We won't do that again. That's what we did. We moved it from the sidewalk and added an additional table. That tent on the sidewalk should have been good to go, because my permit does allow to do sidewalk sales. So I want to be real clear about that, because I don't want anybody thinking I'm trying to, cross the line or do things that I'm not supposed to do here. Any questions about that? Okay. And then about the October 26th, we would like to do a ghouls night out, and we would like to have permission, like we had the last 2 times, to go ahead and let the girls, if they want to take their glass of wine from my shop down to Tammy's or whatever, to be able to actually do that. And that requires the additional caterer's permit, which I have gotten every time with the additional $10 through alcohol and tobacco. So we would like that approval. I would like to hold another Bloody Mary bar on October 28th in the morning from 11 to 2. We'll just try to be real clear with what we're doing. If I'm going to serve on the sidewalk like that in an event kind of capacity, I think I'll just maybe let y'all know we're going to do that. And so we're not, nobody has any questions about what's happening. I think that's probably it. So we want the approval for the ghouls night. And then I don't really feel like I need additional approval for Bloody Mary, because we're just going to stay on the sidewalk.
Okay.
But, and like I said, until I get that fencing in the back, we won't be doing any participating out there in the parking lot until I get that all done. And then I have to go to alcohol and tobacco. I send in pictures. They added to my permit, the language is right on the license. So anyway, any questions?
Does that fencing have to be permanent or temporary?
I'm sorry.
That fencing to go around the back, is that gotta be permanent?
No.
Just wondering.
He told me, I don't even care if you just put a rope around it. He
As
said,
long
we
as
just
it's
need
squared off.
we just need allocated space.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
thank you.
Next item, approval of the payment of bills. See them, I did have one question, Joe, but it's not about whether we should pay it. It's on the generator, smart power. Did they get that fixed? Isn't that what smart power was? That
Yeah,
generator?
they so it's the one at the city hall.
Oh, good on that.
Yep, good on that.
And I think, you may have been on vacation when we had the power outage. There's a lot of stuff that's not on the generator in this building.
Yeah,
Looking at
basically just, it's basically just the police department and just a few
handful of
lighting,
lights,
yeah.
it's pretty dark in here.
Yeah, a few lighting in the hallways, and that's about it. Our computers don't even look at the city hall.
But I didn't know what the capacity on that generator was. The air conditioner wasn't working either, so
Yeah, we can look at that, see.
have them look and see if it's rated, if we don't get extra credit for not using the capacity.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve the bills?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Should I make a motion to amend the agenda and the ghouls night out?
There you go.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add the ghouls night out after, make it number 4 of new business.
Second.
All in favor of amending the agenda?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Sounds good. New business, first item, regarding the spray park. Discuss the city administrator approval, any change orders and constructions to the spray park. Joe, do you want to?
We had a pre-construction meeting, and one of the things they asked was, during the construction process, if something comes up, to have a change order, give me, the mayor, whatever authority to approve a change order up to a certain amount. As you know, it's gonna be kind of a time crunch thing, so that, otherwise, we would have to wait like 2 weeks for the next meeting to go and put the project on hold for like 2 weeks. So whether it's a certain dollar amount, or percentage, or, how this would work was, the contract comes in, wants to do a change order. It would go to Universal, who's our contract management company, and they would determine whether it's valid change order or not, and if so, how much. And then they'll get ahold of me and say, hey, this is valid, this is what it's gonna cost, and it needs to be done, and I will get ahold of the mayor, and me and the mayor would decide, yeah, let's do it, and then we'll report it back to the next meeting. So it won't be like an open checkbook where they can just do whatever they want, it's got steps and process to go to.
And it's similar, when we did the East Jefferson project, we got into a situation where they were, that manhole that needed to be moved, I think it was, or it was concrete work, and we couldn't really put it on hold because they were mobilized and doing the work that day, so Joe and I discussed it and then went ahead and then brought it back at the next board meeting, so. It's not something that we want to get in the habit of, routinely, but sometimes in the course of the project, it is required for more timely moving it forward. But
Yeah, we don't want to.
rest assured, I'm not going to approve $100,000 change. or
What kind of dollar amount would you recommend that we would have board?
Well, I know that the contract was a contingency of 10%, so just whatever you guys feel comfortable with.
10% of the total amount?
Yeah, well, I'm saying, whatever you guys feel comfortable with.
nothing. As a rule, they'll put a 10% contingency
Yeah.
in there just in case
Yeah,
something
that's
comes.
the total amount, and then they had a 10% leeway.
Right. So are we saying like 10 grand, or I think I'd feel more comfortable with a number that we'd come to the board with if it went over, X, Y, Z, just so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, I mean-
You have in 10% number?
Well, 10% of 400,000 is 40 grand, so.
Well, I know,
But
but
you probably wouldn't want, I gotta tell you, if we have
10%
something
of the
that.
budget, though, it's already there.
Yeah, I'd say, if you'd used up that whole contingency on one swoop, I'm probably wanting to meet with the board before we.
Yeah.
We spend it, I don't want, I'm thinking more in the $4,000 or $5,000 line, otherwise. They get into, they're moving that water line under Park Street and it breaks and all of a sudden we got a big deal, then we're gonna fix Park Street, but otherwise, since this is largely an elected project, whereas in Jefferson, we had a street that was gonna be messed up for a period of time, there shouldn't be that many must-haves on it right now, decide kind of basis. But I'm comfortable if you wanna say 5 and 10,000, I don't have a hard feeling one way or the other.
I don't know,
It's over 10.
just when the session came at the pre-construction meeting, like I said, it's gonna be a tight schedule, so we don't wanna put something off, example, let's say the project's going on right now, we had a board meeting Friday, the contractor called and said, hey, we need a change order for $5,000 because of this, and this. Oh, sorry, we gotta wait 2 weeks,
Before we do this.
Or do a special emergency meeting.
And this is kind of why we brought Universal in, right?
Right, to kind of.
Extra oversight.
Yeah, to make sure that it isn't just a vendor saying, oh, you've got 2-inch pipe, that should be 4-inch pipe, and I don't know.
So
But
they're
that's where
gonna,
the.
they're gonna vet the request,
Yes.
and then they're gonna send it to you guys to also, so there's a lot of eyes on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
What's your pleasure?
We'll say 10,000, and then we come before the board.
That's your number?
Sure.
Is there a second?
Okay, make a motion to set a $10,000 board approval if it goes over.
I'll second.
Any additional comments, questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Discussion and consideration and possible action regarding Premier Pyrotechnics, regarding the 2024 fireworks in the park.
Yeah, I got that in notice the other day, so I dropped it on the agenda to discuss.
This is just for additional for monthly, they signed a contract last time, right?
Yeah.
For 3 years.
We signed a contract every year for the new event, so this is just,
Wasn't it a multi-year contract?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it should be, this may be the final year of the month. I think it's a 3-year contract, yeah. So this should be the final year of the 3-year contract. But as you see, the more you sign, the sooner you sign, you can pick your date
okay. Right.
sooner, and then you don't get a discount off the price, you just get more shots added on.
Fireworks, right.
With no bang for your bucks. So I just got this on this discussion, I know,
But December 1st is the first real deadline as far as the
Yeah.
discount goes. And then
My view is if we're gonna do any discount, we might as well take option one.
Well, there's no
We have the
discount.
fund,
This isn't a discount.
Well,
this is
but you get
additional payment.
50% more stuff.
Yeah.
getting more products.
Yeah, more
I don't know
product.
how you gonna figure that out.
Yeah, I can't tell the it was only 200.
I don't know. You have to ask them.
Wasn't it right around $10,000?
What?
I was thinking we had $10,000 in the budget. So
But I think the fireworks itself is 5 to 6,000, but then you guys give them budget money to allow them to do other stuff in the park for the event, I think, right?
I'm sorry, we didn't hear you.
The fireworks is like $5,000, but then we gave you 10,000 last year to add, you did this water slide and stuff like that.
In the past, not last year.
Okay.
But in the past, you guys have done usually around 5,000 for fireworks and 1,000 for band, typically.
And I believe on the budget that was approved last meeting, that we put it in the park budget for this year. That's not to say you have to spend it, but it was in your run rate for the 24 budget. I think we should wait. But that's good that it's here tonight, so we can,
Yeah.
between now and then, get it on there for approval.
Mayor,
Yes, I think.
did you say that you're putting money from general fund into the park fund?
No, it was in the, in that allocation, the 10% operations budget, that it was in there, in some of the expenses on the general operations side. On the second. You have the
So-
capital fund, and then you have the other one, the ops fund.
Right.
And it was a line item in that ops fund.
Okay, so is it coming out of park funds?
That was where it was budgeted, yes.
Okay, because we've never paid for fireworks out of the park funds before. It's always the city general fund is paid
They
for.
did last year, didn't they?
No, that's
No.
gonna be, the city paid it, because we, at this stage of the game, we hadn't discussed.
Oh, okay.
Part of the logic rationale was, one, that literally if we take $10,000 for fireworks, that's potentially not equipping a new patrol car, versus the revenue coming in for park fund is by far the most robust fund. So by allowing them to take it out of that, then it can also be recouped on the backside with some of the fundraising that you do with the food trucks and other activities. So versus the general fund, there's no opportunity for us to recoup that expense.
And doesn't park board need to vote on that first?
That's what I'm saying, it's approved. If you choose to spend the money, you don't have to spend the money. It's just there if you choose to do it. But we need to know, because the city has to approve the contract.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, it did. This is the last year.
but with that, since we've been paying for it, I want to ask if you guys have, if it's within your means to have fireworks. And then I'd have to ask as a board, if it's not within your means,
Well, we have
Does
a
the board
lot
want
of
to get rid of the
expenses.
fireworks?
Yeah, that's the thing with our budget now. We're spending a big chunk of what we have. And then there's other expenses that we're incurring also, that are coming up that we have to decide what we're gonna fix. So we need
Can I-
to.
But by comparison, they bring in about $12,000 a month versus relatively no expenses, except for, I mean, obviously you got a major project going right now, but there's also $300-something thousand in the bank. Versus the general fund, which I think right now got about $25,000 in the bank. And when we did the budget, we had, I think, $2,200 of play in getting the budget balanced versus the park fund, which was literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of all.
So this proposal isn't for, it's just for us to okay, but they pay for us.
If they come back to us and say, we want to do this, then we would need to approve the contract. If they say, we ain't doing it, then we ain't doing
So right now it's tabled in.
it. It was just the.
There's just a discussion item on it, that's why I brought it to you guys, so you guys can start thinking about it. If you want to do discount early, you know, that's specific for us. It's just a discussion.
Yeah, we still got a month to get it decided.
Yeah, I think
Because
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot more to discuss here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying there, but there's also the other side of it.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the Christian Motorcyclist Association request. Mr. Mauer will assist us with this one.
Did I have to tell you about this?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I didn't know you were all waiting on me.
We're getting serious.
All right. So I understand that there is a request to utilize City Hall. We have allowed that in the past in rare occasions. If I remember right, Alderman Jones helped me, it was a tractor club?
Yes, they did.
Yes.
It didn't last, they were going to do it for quite a while, and I don't even think it lasted a year.
And then, but one of the things that we did was the group had to have an alderman, an alderperson sponsor who would come and attend the meetings, because otherwise we'd have to have staff come in and pay staff and overtime. And at the time, the thought was, well, it's not really fair to make staff come in and do that, and particularly supervise if it's renting. And so it was, all right, if an older person is going to step up and do that, and then we could rent, and that's just what was the past practice. That's the only time I'm aware that we've ever done that. If there's been others, and I've just forgotten, but that's the only one I can remember, and that had to be 8, 9 years ago?
At least
5 years ago?
At least 5.
We did, yeah, it was when we first moved into this building.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the only other issue is too, is that it's listed as a Christian. You know, I don't care what the club is, but just recognize that if you do that, then you're gonna have to let anybody else who wants to rent. And if we don't have an older person sponsor or some other like that, and it's just for rent, then anybody else who wants to rent and it's available, we're gonna have to rent to them. So, you know, we won't be able to pick and choose, well, we like this group, so it's okay. Well, this group's from out of town, so they're not okay. If you make it into a public facility for public hire, you pretty much have to do that, much like we do for our shelter house at the park. You know, if you want to rent it, you can rent it. So that's just, that's the thoughts that we had on that. Yes, and yes, Alex did talk to me about that, and just didn't know I was in the conversation.
Didn't we have a discussion like this a year or two ago? There was another group that wanted to come down here, genealogy.
Yeah, I think, and it was like you said, it was if there was an older person that would
Right.
sponsor it and attend the meeting, then we could go forward. So
I just remember the religious piece of the discussion. That
Yeah,
I
it's, I mean, I guess, yeah, again, yeah, I mean, I guess if one of y'all wanted to step up and be an official sponsor, but then you need to attend the meeting.
It's twice a month, it's the first and there's the second and third.
Yeah, it.
opposite of these.
Go on to liquor.
Yes,
On the second Thursday.
Oh, it's just the second Thursday. So it'd be between Powers and meetings.
Didn't get it. And didn't understand the
Oh.
comment.
They were
Sorry.
discussing what day the meeting would be. It's on the second Thursday of the month is what they're requesting, so it'd be opposite the meeting, in between our first and third.
Did they say times?
They did not, it don't start till January. They were just looking for a spot, and it's the first place they hit it, so.
We can put it on hold if you're thinking you want to sponsor it.
When do they need to know by?
They came to us on Friday, so.
Yeah, could we table it and let me do some logistics and, maybe we just.
Second the motion to table.
Ghouls night discussion. You heard the kind of the vision, October 26th, from 6 to 9 p.m. downtown. Somewhat analogous to the other events we've done, minus the ghoulishness. There'd be,
So moved.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? In business.
Thank you.
All right, next up, elected officials comments. I did, I have a couple things. I asked the chief to prepare, I don't know, Sergeant, do you have the list? I don't know, is there anything you want to highlight on that, or?
Not really. Flipping to the second page, you'll see citations. Citations have been an issue, well, a topic of concern more so for, well, since I've been here. We are up, so that's a good thing as far as numbers go. But we just hired a new officer, so we're going to continue to go up. Other than that, back page, state cases. We are turning and burning on that. We've got 3 pending investigation. Let's see, look at my numbers here now. 4 pending investigation. 2 just recently went to Jackson County Prosecutor's Office, and I've got a fly attacking me. We just had one where we got 4 charges on, and we've got an indictment on that one. So we're cooking. So other than that, like I said, we hired a new person. He's currently in FTO right now, so hopefully we can continue to press forward.
Mr. Mayor, me and Chief Hedger and Ben got an email about some issues in Osage Springs, and they want to do a neighborhood watch.
Okay.
I think it would be most prudent if we offered that to the community as a whole to do a neighborhood watch in each section, because we are having a higher rate of crime and people are a little uneasy. So it might be, beneficial if we have multiple sections of town that if people want to participate in that, if they want
Right.
to. It might be something to talk to Chief Hedger about.
And I brought that up before. I think that's a fantastic idea. The more people, the more eyeballs we can get on the streets. Obviously we can't be everywhere at once. I'd love to be. I can solve everything then, but that way, that's a good way to get more people involved. And short answer, I think it's a great idea. I'll bring that up. Maybe we can talk about it next time.
Neighborhood watch still doesn't include neighborhood enforced, though, right?
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not.
I have something to say too. Yeah, I wanted to thank the park board for all the work they put into this great park. And I don't know, it takes an enormous amount of work that they're doing for free, enormous amount of time, and there's so much more that goes into it than anybody could imagine. And I'm excited about what's going on, because when they took out the pool, they promised a spray park, and it's been a long time coming, and I appreciate them being true to their promises. And the park is really something that people can enjoy now. And anyway, I want to let you know that you're appreciated.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Mr. Jones?
I think you ought to cover the mayor's Christmas tree dinner.
That was the thing I had on my
Proceed.
Just a reminder that it's this Saturday. I reached out to Doug to verify what time he wanted us there. I think it's normally at 5 o'clock, but
Yeah, I know the tea and so forth supposed to be there at 4:30, so.
Okay.
I would say
Probably between 4:30 and 5.
5 o'clock would probably, and I'm not sure exactly what time the dinner kicks off, and shortly thereafter.
But,
And you're not gonna find anything any better at the price, I'll tell you that.
right, hey, it's at Heart of God out here north of town.
When is that?
Saturday night, 5 o'clock, when the auction's done.
This
Pardon me?
This Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday. Generally, we serve, so I know that we generally white shirt, black pants. If you don't have that, whatever you got, wear something.
Paint your legs.
We want people to have an appetite. Thanks also to the Fairs and Festivals Committee for the work on the festival. I think the weather didn't cooperate, but we still had a decent turnout, so.
Until you've been in a tent in a hailstorm, you have not lived.
Yeah, I'll continue to not be. Otherwise, yes, hopefully we can see you all Saturday night at Heart of God at the Christmas dinner, Christmas tree dinner, to raise funds for the.
Tickets, are you getting those at the church, Baptist church in the bank, is that?
I've just always got it at the door, but I don't know.
I don't even buy it.
I'm sure you can. I'm not well informed, but I texted him earlier today, said we're meeting tonight, if you can give me information, I'll pass it along, but I haven't heard back. So, yes, sir.
Can there be another comment?
Oh, sure.
All right. Richard brought his horses down, carriage rides down here a few weeks ago, and he got the occupation license to do it. He came down, set up and everything. I guess there was some conversation about not wanting him to take up some car spaces to run the carriage into. Can we clarify that for him and let him know what is good and what's not good? And because I think having the opportunity to have the horse and carriage down here is an awesome thing for our little community to be able to have something like that. So we just want to be sure that he's being compliant with what the council would like to see and what our local businesses would like to see.
We covered up the last meeting, didn't we?
Yeah, and I signed the permit tonight, so. Anything else?
What's the permit say?
I think it's $50 is for carriage business or horse-drawn memories. This says it's enforced, granted on October 2nd, so I guess living on that.
I think, I don't want to speak for you, but you're asking specifically location. Where do you want them, where do you don't want them, where can you park, that type of thing?
I think, Richard, wasn't you wanting the first couple spaces?
I want somewhere on down, we were doing it down there where the cabinet shop is, and just people don't come down that way. We're not here to make money, we're not making that much money. But we're here to bum up business, my horses keep work, and maybe eventually it might be more study, people get the word out. But if we could have down in front of Tony's place or by Tammy's, one end to the other, where we could block off. I don't know, there was more blocked off than I needed, but somebody said something to my wife, and I didn't appreciate that. If they're gonna come talk to me, and man to man, instead of my wife. But we just wanna know and be square with the city, what it takes, and it is, in my opinion, like Tony said, us being here with horse and buggy, you all as a town gonna get more out of it than, most nights we make $65. And I'm telling you, that ain't nothing. That don't even buy one shoe and nail on it. Not only the carriage, the semi, and everything gets down here. And another thing, I think y'all ought to put in the budget next year for a sound system. Because the only person I heard was Tony and myself. And everybody could hear me. I just talk like this all the time. But I am hard of hearing, and this is ridiculous. We listened to the YouTube. I couldn't hardly make heads or tails out of it. So this is something that, you need to consider, that everybody has a microphone or whatever to conduct city business where people could hear out here. That's just my opinion, so.
I would like to say that I think that the carriage rides bring a lot of, I don't know what the right word is exactly, but yeah, I love them being down here, and especially during, for special events, it's great. But during the holidays, the comments I hear from my customers when we have carriage rides down here, when the town's lit up and we're just looking like a Hallmark movie. And that's a good thing for Buckner, to look like a Hallmark movie. So if the carriage rides add to that ambiance of making us look like a Hallmark movie, I think that's super cool. We did talk last year a little bit about maybe them even starting like in front of the body shop, where there's a big gap there where there aren't really any parking spaces anyway. Maybe that's a thought, because you'd be right there in the middle of town versus when them being way down here in the next block, which is kind of where you've been starting during the holidays. People don't really, I have to tell people, the carriage rides are, down there. You have to start down there, and they don't really know that you're there unless they've seen you when they come into town, which obviously is one way, so they have to come that way. But I just feel like it's a great value added kind of thing, and I hate it that you're not making more money than that. But we love it that I love it that you're here, and my customers love it that you're here, and I think that people that come, we're a destination city now. People come here to come to our events, to eat food, to drink wine, to shop the town. I mean, they come here for something. And adding that to what we do here, I think is super important. So, I don't know, that was probably 10 cents, not 2.
Well, and for my first celebration, it was a huge hit, and Richard and Allison were generous enough to donate that to Tammy Sue's first birthday. And they were in front of my shop, and I got permission from Larkin's to use 1 or 2 of their spots to do that. And I will tell you that people were just overwhelmed by it. They couldn't believe that he donated that and they didn't have to pay. We even had dogs that rode in the carriage ride. I mean, it was totally community-based, which was amazing.
Super fun.
It was, and I've had lots of people say it is like a Hallmark movie, so we appreciate that they're willing to donate that. So however, I mean, I'm happy to give space in what's in front of my building if I need to, or whatever you guys choose, but I'm very much in support of what they're doing.
Was there any businesses that were upset over it?
No. I had permission from Larkin. No, there weren't.
We've been encouraged from Tuscaloosa to be down here also.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think it adds a lot of charm.
It does.
Well, more people
That's a
pet
good word.
horses more than
And we have
rides.
this huge parking lot that the city built, so it seems like there's still enough parking. Granted, maybe you walk an extra 20 feet, but most of us could probably use that. So-
Absolutely agree.
Well, and
Yeah.
Richard said too, that the night that you did my birthday, you had more rides that night than they did in the 2 months they were down before.
Because he was super visible.
Right,
I think
so that's what I was saying,
Right.
that makes a difference for him.
Yes, I agree.
If there's no businesses upset over it, I don't see anything wrong with it.
One other thing for the board, I did, I think it was the chamber that had asked about putting the banners back up on the light poles. They've done it the last few years, and it's their expense. And they said, please proceed. I don't think we need approval, but I just let you all know. So,
Are we doing that?
anything else? I would take a motion to adjourn.
That's what you asked about.
Is there a second? All in favor?
I was gonna say.
I can't.
Nice to meet you.
No one's answering about this, though. It ain't just-
This is my state license. And then I have county license.